hands on her hips.
I'm going to make sure that this is about waist high, because if it's too high or too low, it's going to affect my ability to get it set up. So you guys in your packets have the majority of this stuff. So we have our solution, we have some Q-tips, we have some gauze sponges, we have an ABD pad, we have a sterile field, and we have a bowl. So the first thing we're going to put on is our sterile field. When we open, and this is what I was talking about in there, we're going to open away from us. Lay that down. Now, where the majority of you go wrong is you try to be overly neat. You can pick your trash up later. Okay, so don't get all neat on me, because if you do, you're likely to contaminate. When I laid this down, I laid the top that I need down, so I'm just going to flip it. Then I'm going to reach and I'm going to pinch a corner and I'm going to lift up. The blue side is the side I'm going to put down. And remember, I can touch around the, what's the border?
1 inch.
1 inch, so I can touch up here. Now the one thing you can't do is you cannot just flip it up in the air real high. So we're just going to lay it down. And then you can walk around your table. I cannot reach across it. I can walk around it. And remember, in real life, I wouldn't be talking over it. After you guys have been practicing with these for a while, you lift them up and they fall apart. I mean, they just fall out. So, I've got my sterile drape where I want it. Next, I'm going to put out, and as far as putting the order out, it doesn't matter what order you put it out. You just have to put the bowl out before you do your liquid. Other than that, whatever you want to put out next is fine. I'm going to do my bowl. So I'm opening it away from me, and I'm also tucking it down under here, because if I don't, and this is dragging, and I put it out here, I've contaminated. Okay, so I'm just going to reach up here and hold it, and I'm going to go in from this side. So by putting it out there, this part is going to be contaminated, but I'm not going to use that part of my dressing or my sterile field anyway, because it's over there close to the edge. So this would be in the trash, but for today, since we're recycling, I'll stuff it in here. Then I'm going to take my ABD pad, and again, I'm going to open it away from me. One of the easier ways to put these out is to just reach over. Now, here's my edge. It's right on the edge. What did I tell you guys in class?
Don't use it.
If you're concerned, don't use it. It's not over my 1 inch. It's on that side. This is actually more than 1 inch, so I'm comfortable using that. If it were like this, or even like this, no, I would not be comfortable using that. So, right there. Then I am going to go ahead and put out my saline, because truthfully, I always forget to put out my saline. So when we open it, we're always going to put our palm over the label so that whatever we're pouring out doesn't run and mess up if we did have a date and a time on here. So I'm going to open it. I would then lip it, so just barely pour. Okay. And then I'm going to reach around here to this contaminated, I'm going to pour in the bowl. And you'd pour enough so that you can get your gauze wet that you're going to do in just a minute. Then I'm going to pour my gauze, or throw my gauze out there. As far as the gauze goes, I can try to get it in my bowl, but I don't have to, because I'm going to put on sterile gloves after this step, and then I can move everything on my sterile field wherever I want it. So I'm going to open it away from myself again. This one's been open, so that's why it's falling apart a little bit. And then I'm reaching out. Now, I'm reaching out, but see how the sterile part of my is over my... You guys are shaking your head, so I'm going to go with you understand what I'm trying to say. This is blocking any...
Sterile's over sterile.
Yeah, sterile over sterile, so this is blocking any. So I'm reaching over. That's why I can do that over this, because, you know, would I be concerned about my sterile field? No, I can just not use it, but I'm doing that out over that. You could also come in from the side and try to dump it in your bowl, but like I said, there's really no need to, because when I put on my sterile gloves, then I can reach over and do whatever I want. These are always... You'll notice Leah has given me 3 sets, because these are a pain to try to get out. So with this, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can try to unwrap them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they're a total pain.
I'm nervous about
I was always taught to pop them out, so I usually go from the side, but see, I got one on, one off. If you can undo them, and this is what I was talking about, Kayla, when you smiled, and I said, you people with OCD and your cleanliness, you're gonna wanna reach and get that. Leave it. Just leave it and do it, throw it away when you're done. Because you're more likely to contaminate, accidentally touch, or reach over something if you try to get it off than if you just leave it and throw it away at the end.
Can you do it where you walk over to the other side, so then you weren't really reaching over? Like if you do it from this other side where your gauze and stuff
yeah,
isn't
you
laying
could.
down.
This is how I was taught to do them. And Leah doesn't. Leah does them a different way, which works for Leah, but doesn't always work for me. And sometimes the Q-tips get caught in the sealant down here, which is always fun. So, all right. And then what we always did was just kind of, like you were talking about, from the side, and just threw them out. Oh, and this one has no cotton whatsoever on the end, so there you go. You know, so there are different ways you can do these. We'll do this last one, and then you guys are going to split up and critique each other.
So is there a reason why you're not holding? I understand the outside of the package is bad, but is there a reason why you're not?
Oh, that's probably the
Yeah, that's
easiest.
cool. Okay, never mind. You answered my question.
There's all different ways.
Okay.
You just have to keep the principles in mind. You can't touch with your fingers because they're not sterile. The other thing is, remember that while the insides of these packages are sterile, the outsides are not sterile. So sometimes we'll have a student get everything set up and they forgot that they didn't put a gauze out and they put on their sterile gloves and then they do this. You cannot do that. That's breaking your sterile. Now, we'll say Allie did that. She got her sterile gloves and then she looked at me and she went, I forgot to put my gauze out there. Then I'm going to say, well, what would you do in the real world? And Ellie would say, I'd ask somebody to open one for me. So we can open one. Now, if she did that with everything, oh, I forgot to put a Q-tip. Oh, I forgot to. I'm going to say, yeah.
Put gloves on first thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I need to do this. But, you know, in the real world, if you ran out of stuff, you know, that's why Leah had me with 3 here, because